wanted to play some more Hoi 4 Kaiserreich this week, and someone on Twitter would ask me, oh, is it going to be, you know, Kaiserreich today? I was like, yeah, let's go for it. What the hell, right? So that's what we're going to do. Yeah, I know, I'm happy. I should have worn the hat last time, too. I'm all ready to command our troops and hopefully fend out all opposition. It's Terja coming in. Hey, Terja. So this Belgium thing, has Hoi 4 started with make your own custom nations now? Oh, man. You know, I wonder what playing Belgium is like in vanilla Hoi 4. I think I've tried it. I don't think it goes particularly well. I don't think they have a custom idea tree. I think the Netherlands does. I don't think Belgium itself does. But here in Kaiserreich, man, oh man, was it fun. Okay, let's catch you up. If you guys were not here for last Monday's stream, which is when we started this, don't worry about it. Things are going to be pretty explosive this time. You're here for the crazy stuff. So we're playing the amazing Kaiserreich or Kaiserreich mod for Hearts of Iron 4. This is a humongous mod, massively game changing, which simply starts with Banana Cabana coming in. Simply comes in with the premise of what if Germany had won World War I? What kind of changes might have occurred? Well, for one, Germany, not having lost, not having to pay all these crazy reparations and things like this, may not have had such a hard time that allowed the Nazi party to spring up and flourish. So the German Empire over here, the nation of the German Empire, first of all, is still ruled by a king. We got Wilhelm II over here, and isn't fascist. But Great Britain, United Kingdom, different. I mean, it all sorts of shifted here, and France had a really bad time after losing the war and having to do reparations and all kinds of stuff and getting their butts just kicked overall. They both had a syndicalist uprising, which is sort of communism. There's massive amounts of story and lore behind all the stuff in Kaiserreich. Definitely worth reading. It's sort of communism, except actually syndicalism's, yeah, it's hard to describe in a nutshell, but, you know, that's the best way to think about it. Meanwhile, the British royal family, and as well as most of the Royal Navy, escaped over to Canada. And Canada is the leader of the Entente faction, which is sort of like effectively the Allies light in Kaiserreich over here. And they're actually a pretty potent force in the Kaiserreich world. We've done one playthrough as them in the past, and it is really, really fun. And there's a million different ways to go. But I think, as far as I know, like every country in this game has a custom idea tree, and they are really, really amazing. Yeah, let's have a little chat about what's going on in America over here. So America, in Kaiserreich, has a second civil war. This is, as far as I know, in the current version of Kaiserreich, it is going to happen. I don't think there's a way to avoid it. And usually you get up to 4. Can you have 5 factions? I'm not sure, but at least often you see 4 different groups. You at least see 3 different groups split up America. This time, I've never seen this before. There were only 2 factions in the Civil War in the US. It was crazy. The southern states won. That's not the crazy part, okay? Shortly after the end of the Civil War, the President of the United States was assassinated and replaced with effectively the KKK. The Silver Legion over here, they're national populists. National populism is, yeah, I don't know, uniting the people under a strong leader and everything, and these guys are super racist. Their flag has got the white, you know, sort of thing. Yeah, the KKK is basically in charge of America. Which I don't think I've seen before in a Kaiserreich game. Not that I played a million of them, but that was pretty crazy. And now, well, hold on. Let me put a pin in that and get back to our situation. So that's the world sort of as a whole. We started off as playing as Flanders Wallonia. Wallonia Flanders, one or the other. Basically, after World War I ended and Germany won, what was sort of the area of Belgium was made into a satellite of Germany, ruled by a German sort of puppet government and a new sort of king, this German king Adalbert or something like that, because the actual Belgium king was back in power now. Albert I had also been forced to flee to Canada after the war. So we started off by running this like Flanders Wallonia government, you know, German puppet government, and God, gosh, we did a terrible job at it. It's so embarrassing. You know, we ruled the country so poorly that the people just started this rebellion, and we were so incompetent at putting down this rebellion. I know, I'm really embarrassed, you guys, and as a result, the revolution was successful in driving out the German puppet government, and now we have an independent Belgium again. Oh, I know. Guys, I'm just as embarrassed as you are that we somehow failed like that. So now we're an independent Belgium. We rejected Germany, we reformed Belgium, and there's like a million different ways this can go. You can end up with an independent Flanders, an independent Wallonia, but we have a united Belgium put together, and we had elections, and we actually had a straw poll for it, because there's a bunch of different ways we can go, and we decided we were going to properly restore the monarchy, as opposed to going republic, and then we went down the Verdenasso branch over here, where Joris van Severen is I guess the prime minister of our country here. This is a weirdly this is a bizarro tree over here. But you can see, like, this is the political tree. Before we were independent, our political focus tree was completely different. Most of this was the same, although we didn't have this area for foreign policy, I don't believe, before we became independent. But the political tree was completely different. With independence, our tree changes completely. We've got multiple different parties we can choose for, whether we go republic or monarchy. 4 different major parties, and then some of them, like the BWP, which is more the syndicalist one, has 3 sub-branches in there as well. But the chat has spoken. We wanted the Verdenasso branch, which is a little bit funky. But it's basically, we're going to reinforce the Greater Belgian idea, and we're going to try to push forward and, you know, integrate the Dutch provinces, and then maybe go after France at some point. Although we're not going to rush for that, because right now we're quite dependent on France. So, sometime after we declared independence, Germany came knocking again and say, hey, listen, you got to get back in line here. You got to sort of re-become sort of one of our puppets and join the Reichspakt. So if we go into the faction map mode over here, you can see the Reichspakt over here. This is run by Germany. Finland is in on this as well currently. That is one faction. It's not the Axis. It's very, very, very different from that. But for our purposes, the Reichspakt is our enemy. Other factions that are existing, well, we've got the Scandinavian Defense Union with Sweden, Norway, and Denmark. We've got the Third International, which is the syndicalist group right here, currently with Great Britain and France, as well as the northern part of Italy right here. What are they actually called? The Socialist Republic of Italy, as opposed to the 2 Sicilies. Spain is in a civil war. This is a 3-way civil war that's actually been going for quite a while and has been stalemated for quite some time over here. And the Russian Republic has undergone like 3 different government changes since we came in. Russia's really awesome. If you've never played Kaiserreich before, a lot of people recommend starting with Russia because they're quite powerful, but they can also go like a million different ways, which is crazy. Currently, they're Social Democrats, although they still have a powerful syndicalist faction, or you know, party preference, party popularity. They currently are not part of any faction at this time. Over in the east, this map mode over here, we've got a Great Khanate coming up, but you know, and the co-prosperity sphere. We're not too concerned with stuff that's going on over here because we got our own crazy stuff. So we are in a war again against Germany because they came knocking, we told them to stuff it, and they declared war. We've been holding our own, in fact, have pushed forward against Germany at this point. We've got tons of forts, we got massive amounts of anti-air. We don't have our own air force, but we have massive amounts of anti-air and radar to cover our territory over here. And it's been a long time since we've seen any real damage to any of our buildings. We got a little bit of damage to the infrastructure in Wallonia and Luxembourg, but I think that's because we just marched in there. We had some active fighting going on there because we have pushed over, we've taken a little bit of land. I could probably push a little bit more, but I don't want to because that's going to extend the front line. Still, I was worried about getting our butt kicked because, I mean, Germany's got way more manpower than we do. Currently, they've got, you know, maybe let's call it 2 million manpower in the bank, and they're not even at the most extreme conscription thing. We've only got 66,000 over here. That being said, at some point, we were able to join the Entente. So we went down here to foreign policy. We joined the Entente over here. Again, sort of allies light. Yeah, can't Germany just run over Belgium? No, man, Belgium is strong. very strong. We have great troops. We didn't have a lot of troops, starting the game, but they were fairly well trained. We've gone and brought up a bit more. We've been able to change our laws a little bit and run other ideas to get a bit more manpower. And we've got a lot of forts. We were just holding the line. This is early enough. This war actually started, I want to say maybe early 38, actually. Germany, you can see here, there's not really any tank divisions. I think there's one heavy tank brigade over here. That's got some tanks in it, and that's what you really need to be able to bust through forts and things like that. So it's so early that Germany really doesn't have the tank force to be able to push through. Now, so we joined the Entente, so the Commonwealth of Canada, which is potent in this game, joined our war. It was like, yes, this is exactly what we need. If nothing else, it'd be nice to have a little bit of a navy defending the channel over here so that our convoys don't get obliterated. However, Canada ended up sending a lot of troops. They sent a few at some point to Belgium, although there's nothing there right now. They sent a lot to fight in Africa. And they got destroyed, actually. A lot of the Entente members, India has lost a lot of troops as well. I think they fought a lot in Africa and lost. All the Entente holdings, as far as I know, are gone from Africa. This is the diplomacy map mode. You can see we've got no friends here, only enemies. And hell, we got more enemies over here. Ooh! The Republic of Australasia is getting its butt kicked too. Ay, 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 ay. Oh, yes, and the Republic of France, which started over here, this was like the non-commune of France, the Republic of France over here, they're gone. If we look at the war over here, the French Republic has capitulated. They got their asses destroyed over here, so they're out of it. Brazil's against us, so, that's good and lovely. Portugal's in with us, which might help a little bit, we'll see. So, if we look at the war score stuff over here, first of all, the good news is, as Belgium, we have not lost very many people. I mean, 19,000 people is nothing to sneeze at, but considering the German Empire has lost about 450,000 fighting us specifically, I'd say that's a pretty good ratio. We are slaughtering the Germans that are trying to push our way. However, you can see the Commonwealth of Canada as a whole has lost more than the German Empire, and most of their losses were fighting the German Empire. I'm assuming in Africa. I don't actually know everywhere where they fought, but I suspect that was probably the case. So they've taken a huge beating over here. French Republic got knocked around a bunch. The Dominion of India lost a bunch of troops as well, although they should have a fair amount of manpower depending on their laws. Although India, notice, is sort of split into three major factions over here. So, there's not one India at this time. So our allies that we were hoping that would really help us in the war aren't proving to be all that helpful. The good news is, though, the Syndicalists did go and declare war on the German Empire. Like, if we look over here, actually, in this war, so we got the Entente faction, that's us, including Belgium, and, our friends, our direct friends. But the Third International, the Syndicalists, have jumped in on a war against the German Empire, and that's really what we're hoping does the most. The Commune of France, in particular, right over here, has declared war. They have 0 losses so far, which is interesting, because I thought they had joined a little bit before the end of the stream, but maybe we cut right away. And you can see there's some battles that are going over here. So that's going to pull away some of the German forces from our border. That'll force them to thin out, which is hopefully going to be very, very, very helpful over here. And on our side, as well as the co-prosperity sphere, so Japan and their holdings over there are also fighting our enemies. Russia has also jumped in on this. They're not part of a faction, but they are involved in this war. So on the other side, we've got the Reichspakt, as well as the Tuareg Confederation, which I think just spawned, basically, down over here. I think it was released as a decision. Probably they'll join a faction. So, yeah, in terms of raw troops... Now, can I merge this together? Oh, is this just changing the sorting? Maybe. Yeah, anyway, so that's the situation. Now, the problem is, that I'm really concerned about right now, is the Commonwealth of America, with 3 Ks over here, is currently fabricating or justifying war goals against Canada. And that scares me a bunch. Looks like they're justifying specifically for, like, Midway Island and things like that, so they're looking for some Pacific holdings. But Canada's lost a bunch of its troops, and more importantly, doesn't have a lot of troops in Canada itself. They've all been sent overseas. So you can see the America troops over here on the border, and there's like hardly anything left in Canada. So they'll probably just get run over, which isn't very positive. Anyway, that's the state of the world. It is May. It's the 4th of May, 1939. Is there a way to find out when the war started? I don't know. The Commonwealth of America, exactly. So we're going to go ahead and pause. We'll run on speed 3 for a second here. So we've got some light garrison on our coastline. We've got 5 coast tiles. We've got 2 ports over here. Oh, 2 Sicilies. So so the other half of Italy has joined the war on the Reichspakt side. So the syndicalist Italy and the market liberal Italy are going to be fighting each other over here. So, as distasteful to our particular proclivities as it is, we really do have to side with syndicalists. Although I say that, syndicalists were a big part of our successful revolution over here. So, you know, you have to appreciate them a little bit. Kingdom of Poland. Okay, yeah, a lot of these things were already involved in this war. There's just more of these wars being merged together. Bottom Italy versus top Italy. Yeah, it's sort of the easiest way to just sort of remember it. Especially since 2 Sicilies doesn't even have, like, Italy in the name. Meanwhile, Rome is just chilling, right? The Papal State? Yeah, you're not involved in anything? Alright. Non-aggression pact, yes, the Russian Federation. Oh, also, we can get a non-aggression pact with the Commune of France, which I'm going to try to do because we really, really don't want them starting. If they suddenly decide, you know what would be convenient? Taking Belgium and then pushing through, they just could. They just easily could. So, there's no fighting right now. One thing I want to do is check our laws. We're at extensive conscription. We still don't have a ton of manpower. We've got war economy running. Export focus is fine. What we can do... Yeah, we had some troops on the border with Commune of France for a while because we were worried that they might start things. But then when they declared war with Germany, I moved everyone over to this front. And probably can start pushing. Even though it would thin out our lines a fair bit, if we got to the river, that would actually feel pretty good. Because we could hold on this side of the river, I think, relatively okay. Do we have any equipment shortages? Time for a bike blitz! Send in the bike brigade! Oh yeah, we are short on infantry equipment, so I'd rather not be in that situation before we pushed. Did we recently switch over to equipment too? I think so, because I think that's why our efficiency is so low. Looks like France might be quickly be fighting in both the north and south. Wait, what the hell happened here? When did the Italian Republic show up? Jeez. Okay, that's sort of bad for us. Because that's weakening the syndicalists. Italy split again. Yeah, they start at the start of the game. 2 Sicilies and the Socialist Republic are split up. But yeah, the Republic just appeared. And yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how Spain shakes out. They were always there, were they? Just smaller? They showed up at the start of the game? Oh, okay. Oh, in Venice. Oh. Out of curiosity, possible in Hoi Forest, France to hold off the Germans? Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can. I mean, it's not trivial, but you absolutely can. All right, so we've got some tech. It is 39. We're not going to start on the 40 tech because it's still fairly far away. I don't think any of the special forces are all that relevant for us. It's tempting with the mountain infantry with the huge discount, but we're not really going to be fighting in any mountains at this point. I mean, they still tend to be better than the baseline, but not worth it enough. It probably is worth to get the next level of our companies. Let's take a look at our infantry division. We do have engineering, we have support artillery, field hospital. We don't have a recon division added at this time. We should probably do that. We're still going to be short on infantry equipment, and we'll be short on support equipment. It still might be worth researching the next level recon for whenever we can deploy it. Although the field hospitals is the other huge priority. Do we have them added in? Okay, yes, we have field hospitals, which is good because we don't have much manpower. We really need the field hospitals. So I'm going to go ahead and get the next level of that. Preserving that manpower and our experience is really important. Yeah, Salestron says field hospital too, definitely. Yeah, I agree. Lend-Lease. I don't know what these are. I think this is infantry equipment. It'd be nice if, like, there was a tooltip or a symbol or something like that to, like, explain what things are. Yeah, they are rifles. For, like, when you know, I love having the equipment have their national names, but I don't know all the names. Anti-tank prepare for the German assault. Again, right now, Germany doesn't have very many tanks, although they're probably building it up, and that will be a little bit more scary. So we got planes going there. Again, we don't have an air force. I think we literally have no planes. I think we started with no planes. And there's no reason to build them because we wouldn't be able to get dominance over there. Now, one of the fronts I'm really curious about is the Russian front over here. Because it would be really handy to get their help. Now, I can't tell who's pushing into who right now. Like, it feels like this is Ukraine pushing out, but it could be the Russians pushing in. I don't know where the initial borders were. What path is Netherlands going now? They've been pretty chill. They did become, well, they're radical socialists, really. I thought they were syndicalists. No, they're radical socialists over here. Radical! Woo! Which means we probably won't be friends in the long term, but right now they're just chilling independently. Iron Guard Romania has capitulated. Oh yeah, the Austrian Empire had a war earlier. They, like, annexed a bunch of stuff and generated border gore. More Lend-Lease. Okay, Fusee is some sort of gun. Model 1895. Those are really old. Chile. 20 convoys. Oh, we have no convoys. Sorry, I have to decline. I did not realize we probably have lost a bunch. No intel on this combat. I think our things are being used to repair our ships right now. Keep this a higher priority. Yeah, no, I mean, them joining the International isn't good in the long run. Right now, oh yeah, it might still not be good because then Germany would flood in through this and then possibly come down here. That is true. We maybe need to make sure we've got maximal forts over there. We have forts in almost every one of our provinces. We actually started with it. So I think this justification ended in June, so we got a couple more weeks before America declares war on Canada and obliterates it probably. Because again, Canada, like, blew its load in Africa and lost. Fortify the mouse line. We'll call it mouse. So Wallonia is getting some more land forts. Hey, that's great. It's not right on the front, but it's going to be okay. Grand battle plan, that is fine too. So we just finished this, and now we've got two options for land forts. We can either fortify some parts of Flanders and Wallonia, or we could fortify different parts of Flanders and Wallonia. This is French border. Well, I don't think we need to fortify the French border. It doesn't specify where this is. The chocolate mousse line. Oh, that's right. America's also doing Mexico. That's true. I forgot about that. So I'm going to assume this one. And then later on we get the resistant bite. So reconnaissance company boost, which is nice, actually. We demand resistant bite. It was awesome in World War II. It'll be awesome in Kaiserreich. Yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to keep forting it up. And yeah, for those of you who aren't here on Monday, as this nation, as Belgium, or, you know, whatever we were before, we started the first level of Grand Battle Plan, and we're like, well, superior firepower is better, right? So we actually switched over, researched this, started researching the next one, and then we realized that we actually have a ton of freaking mega discounts for Grand Battle Plan Doctrine. We have multiple things that give us a 100% boost, specifically to Grand Battle Plan, not just any army doctrine, but this. So we switched back. We wasted so much research, but in the end, I think it'll save us more. And while I prefer superior firepower, all the dig-in bonuses, the entrenchment bonuses and things with the Grand Battle Plan actually is kind of useful for us, just like holding the line. We switched twice and we're